Right, so firstly I'd like to say that I've had this channel for about 3 seconds now and it's already gone tits up. Bit overdramatic, but I did lose the footage from one of the 8 drawings that was supposed to be in this video. So now, instead of an 8-part speed draw, it's going to be 7 speed draws and 1 very entertaining still image, but I'll try to keep that section brief. And it's not really a big deal, because it's the perfect excuse for me to introduce voiceover to explain my cock-up. Editor's note, can I say things like this on YouTube anymore? Probably not, though I'm not sure how much it matters since I'm not exactly a contender for monetization just yet. That being said, I should probably start being a bit more careful. Anyway, allow me to introduce myself. Hello, I'm Cryptid, your humble internet drawer, and I will be your narrator for the evening. So, what do we think of the avatar? Knowing me, I'll probably look at it in like a week or so and cringe at either the art or the character design or both. So who knows how long it'll stick around. But yes, like I said, there were going to be 8 drawings in this video and I managed to record 6 and a bit of them, so go me. You're probably wondering why I've crammed so many speed draws into one single video, and that, my friend, is because they are all part of a series that I drew originally back in 2018. You see, I was looking through some old art, and I found this 7-day color challenge that I set myself a few years back. The basic idea of it was I took my main original characters, of which helpfully there were 7 at the time, and I took the 7 colors of the rainbow. I did 1 per day, so that by the end of the week I had 1 full body illustration of each one of my characters. So it was fun. And I did it in this funky kind of black and white meets color block style, and I still really like that concept. But the execution, it could have been a bit better, I'll tell you that much for free. See, at the time, I was bad at art. Because now I'm just amazing at it. No, not really. But I was still improving at the time, and it was a pretty big challenge for me to do 1 of these per day. Like, I could barely hold a pen without just spontaneously combusting. So it was a pretty tall order to do, like, a full-sized, crisp line art having fully shaded. I say that even though these aren't shaded, but we'll just ignore that. Point being, back then, these were the only full-body drawings of semi-decent quality that I had done of my OCs, and up until the creation of this video, they were still the only full-body drawings of semi-decent quality that I'd done of them. Which is just a disservice to myself and to the evolution of my character's designs, to say the least. So I figured, why not do a cheeky little remaster? Before we get too much further into the video though, I'd like to take a moment to shill. If you're new to my channel, which I assume you are, and you find some charm in the video thus far, why not leave a like and subscribe? And if you do, I'll even let you leave a first comment without poking fun at you for it in the comment section. Deal? Deal. With that out of the way, you might have been doing some mental math and realized that 8 is, funnily enough, more than 7, which was the number of characters, colors, and days in a week I had originally specified. A simple explanation being, there's another character now in my roster that I thought deserved to be included in this roundup as much as the others. And pink really brings out his eyes. So, my OCs included in this video in order of appearance are Lucy, Felix, Willow, Elijah, Leo, Jade, Alev, and bonus number 8, 7. Oh dear. Well, his name is 7, so maybe he should really be numbered. Gosh darn it. Do we ever think these things through? Anyway, like I said, he didn't have an original, so here's a random sketch that I found from about the same time period. That's quite the chin you've got there. You could cut diamonds with that thing. So, let's see some of these drawings. Grab a drink and a snack, and cozy in while I roast my old artwork. Let's go. This first one of Lucy is 100% my favourite of the original bunch. Yeah, buckle up for a sharp decline in quality as we go through these folks. The old ones, that is. As for the new version, I think this is also one of my favourites. When it came to teaching myself how to draw each of my characters' designs consistently, Lucy was the first one that I got down pat. I think part of that is just she's kind of a cartoony person, and she has these big eyes and exaggerated expressions that just look kind of silly if I draw them on any of my other characters. I'll try not to talk too much about the actual characters themselves, because I know that eventually on this channel I will have done so ad nauseum, because I do draw them a hell of a lot. Something I wanted to include in these illustrations that weren't in the originals are weapons and things like that if they have them. So you'll see Lucy here has this, it's kind of a sharp gold stick made out of her blood. Yes, okay. So Lucy's a guardian, so she's basically just a winged homunculus 4'11" gremlin child. All of my species are pretty much original in one way or another, kind of, except for human, obviously. Like you'll see here moving on to Felix, or not because he's the one whose footage I lost, whoops, that he's a long-eared elf, which, isn't new, elves are a fantasy staple. But, you know, certain things like the fire elemental ability and having blue blood, not that you can tell from this drawing, but just as an example, are, I guess, atypical of other variations on the species, if that makes sense. Speaking of the fire elemental thing though, that was super fun to draw here. I tried to make it in a way that you can see the path of his hands leading to his current pose. Normally I'd put way more effort into the fire, and you'll see that a little later on in one of my last drawings, but really I just wanted to keep it simple and kind of graphic-y. Felix's design has changed a lot over the years, like he's very different from the 2018 iteration of this drawing, but he's more similar now to my original design for him. His first design was snow white hair and medium to light tan skin. Then I changed it to brown hair and sort of lighter tan skin, then back to white hair and kind of mid-tone skin. Now I know what you're thinking. Cryptid, that 2018 drawing, that's a pale as an A4 sheet of white paper boy right there. And you would be correct. See, okay, if you're looking at the way I'm coloring the new versions, I'm doing them in color first, and then desaturating and screwing around with the tone curve to make them look nice and contrasty. I didn't do that with the originals. I just went straight in very middling shades of grey. And it resulted in them all looking really washed out because I was a student of the Coloured Pencil and Watercolour Academy, and dark and vibrant colours scared the crap out of me. Moving on, the video you're looking at right now is actually the second version of Yellow, and the last one of these drawings I did chronologically. I'll pop the original up on screen, and yeah. I don't know, it was alright, but I just didn't feel like it suited her character. Will's just more of a reserved person, and in this one she's just kind of uncharacteristically cheesing. And she has sort of disproportionately big eyes in that one as well. I mean, they all do, stylistically, but that was just a bit too much. I took about a week and a half break actually in between the first drawing of Yellow and the next one, which is Green. That was to do my rotoscope of the song No, because I have the attention span of a flea, and when I get an idea, I have to make it happen now. That animation, by the way, is actually pretty cool. It's on my channel. I'll put it in the cards or description or something. Go check it out. But yeah, I came back, and after rotoscoping a normally proportioned face for a week, I feel like I had a slightly better grip on the placement of facial features. So I redid it. And this is how it turned out. Willow, or Will as she'd rather be called, is a very sort of put-together, mature mom friend kind of person. Oh, and one more thing before I move on, because it's just the one thing that's bugging me about this drawing, is that I did just slightly too much shading under the chest area, or I didn't blend it out enough, and I've given her that anime chest sack thing. You know, where it looks like the t-shirt has like bags inbuilt for the tits to, you know, just pop into? That's what it looks like. That might just be to me because I've been looking at it for too long, but I can't unsee it now, and now neither can you. Moving on. Green. This is my boy Elijah, who was featured in that animation I was talking about. I've got a dual protagonist thing going on, and he's one of the two. Poor dude lost his arm, so here you can see his prosthetic in all its glory. Prosthesis. Sorry, that's a bad habit I've been trying to kick. I embarrassingly recently, found out that prosthesis is the noun and prosthetic is an adjective, if I'm correct, which I hope I am. So I've been working on saying prosthesis and not prosthetic. His has an inbuilt blade. Like I said, I wanted to show off the weaponry, so he's got it out here. And in the original, he was wearing a jacket that pretty much covered the whole thing, save for his hand. And while that is part of his general character design, it's better to show off the pretty cool arm without the jacket. But let's talk about the original. I hate it. I hated it when I drew it. It's so bad. He's so washed out and pale and very long in the face. But like I said, I was doing a one-a-day challenge thing, so I didn't have the time to do it again like I did with the yellow one this time round. Oh, side note on that, disregarding the week and a half I was animating, these drawings only took me 4 days to do, so, hey, progress. And progress indeed. Look at those noodly arms and noodly legs. The old drawings are all just very noodly. Probably has something to do with the fact that all the people I interacted with at the time were my age, and as such had lanky teenage bodies that weren't great for referencing characters that were supposed to have a fantastic set of man titties. Could I have looked up references? Yeah. Would it have made a difference? Probably not, because my grasp on anatomy was poor. Next, the second of my dual protagonists, Leo. Speaking of lanky teenage bodies, this guy is one heck of a beanpole. That's one thing that benefited the original version of this, is that at least I could get his body type right. The original isn't actually that bad, it's probably one of the better ones alongside Lucy, but one of my friends pointed out to me, and now I can't unsee it, he has the world's shortest crotch. I'll just leave it at that. This new one is super fun. I like the way I incorporated his quote-unquote weapon, which is this caustic, spiky demon sludge called Ferrometus. If you've ever seen footage of ferrofluid on a magnet, it's like that, except big and corrosive. And that little fellow on his shoulder is Nyx, his demon symbiote. One thing I'll say is that I think I made his skin a little too dark. The original is actually a lot closer to what it's supposed to be, even though it's basically white. He's a very pasty 6'4" ginger with freckles, so. Oh, side note, as you may have noticed, I signed my art Ren. That's because, shockingly, my parents didn't name me Cryptid. Ren's the name, don't wear it out, but you can call me Cryptid, Cryptid Draws, Ren, Dumb Broad, whatever floats your boat. Speaking of dumb broads, what a segue. This is Jade. Okay, to be fair, she's not dumb, she's just very ditzy. Again, the original isn't bad. Again, probably because she fits the body type I was giving them all. Talk about same face syndrome, I definitely had same body syndrome. I like the little extras I added to the new version though, like her tan lines and her little anklets. They're very her. She's a dreamer and a beach bunny and just all around very sweet. This pose took me a little while, but I think the fact that it's pretty dynamic, as I said, suits her. Also, I'm pretty happy with the way I drew her feet because I wanted her to be barefoot, or not barefoot, but wearing open-toed shoes. And for the longest time, I avoided learning how to draw feet at all because I just don't like them as a body part. The original is with me looking at a reference, and she still has club toes. Anyway, the new one's much better, so I'm happy with that. We've also got her little demon friend, Harp, who isn't symbiotic with her like Nyx, the previous one, is with Leo. She doesn't actually have demon powers, she's just a big demon nerd and studies cryptozoology. So like, she's dumb, but she's not stupid, you know? Continuing with the demon theme, we have Violet. This is Alev, and I am... Okay, I promise, I'm not vain, I promise, but I think this one kind of rocks. I really like it. He just looks cool, and the post didn't take me that long to do, but I'm still super happy with it, which makes it so much better. Thick titties, banging waist, a crotch that is longer than 2 centimeters, and for the record, yes, I am talking about the literal length of the crotch area, not the length of his penis. Anyway, he's an approximately 1,132-year-old ex-Sartor involuntary demon king. And I'll leave it at that, because if I go on, this video will be an hour long. What I will mention is the fire on the candles. That's what I was talking about earlier, where I put a little more effort into them than I did with Felix's, not a lot more, as I said, still trying to keep it pretty minimalist. And last one, this is 7. I always feel like I should give some explanation as to why his name is what it is, but I can't remember why I named him that. Not for any reason important, I'm pretty sure it was just a placeholder name that stuck. And I'm talking 5 years going strong with this name. It just is what it is now. But we aren't talking about the name, we're talking about drawings. Except unfortunately, we don't really have a lot of comparison we can do here. Yes, that is a Triforce on his shirt in the old drawing, but real world pop culture doesn't actually exist in the fictional universe they're a part of. So that's not really canon, but he's still a massive geek and a full-time med student. Very tired man. Now I'm already looking at this one and kind of nitpicking it, like the soles of his sneaker is a bit too short and so is his forehead, but overall, still pretty happy with it. Pretty happy with them all, I think I did an alright job. And that does bring us to the end of the video. I'll put them all up on screen again. This was a really fun series. I do love redrawing old artwork because it shows progress, and it also incentivizes me to do something really cool with the redraw, just to make it that much better than the original. And I just really like how Alev's turned out, that's the main takeaway from this. And I know my work isn't perfect, I've still got a lot of room for improvement, but hey, when something looks good, it looks good. And it'll probably look even better when I do it all again in another 3 years. Anyway, that's all folks. If you liked the video, liked my art, liked hearing me talk, please go ahead and drop a like. If you didn't, little odd that you're still here, but by all means, go ahead and drop a dislike. Leave a comment down below if you're so inclined, and subscribe for future videos. Don't really have an upload schedule planned, but I'm always making something, so there'll always be something to see. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later!